I'm so thrilled to introduce to you an incredible artist, probably one of the greatest living musical artists in the nation, and really true master of his craft. Also an educator, and I really wanted to begin this series on mavens of extraordinary individuals in an area that I'm actually passionate about, and that would be the theater, film, music. And our first guest is Mr. Roeder Camañag. Welcome.
Thank you for even considering me as an extraordinary.
So, why don't we begin from the beginning?
Okay. Sure.
So, why don't we start from when you were born and what were your earlier influences and how did you become the artist that you are in those early years?
Well, growing up in a house full of singers and dancers, I think no wonder that's why I'm in this field. Because I grew up in the, how say it, my mom's side, all of them are singers. During parties and reunions, I would hear them sing. One of my uncle plays the piano. And the youngest brother, he was very active in the dance, especially doing folk dance. And he was a member of Dulaang Kabataang Barangay at that time. And I acted in one of their plays.
Tell me about that.
They were looking for this young boy because they were playing, I think they were doing Gabon by this Tony Perez? Lito Perez.
I don't know.
Okay, the material is Gabon.
Okay.
And they needed a boy who will just cross because the scene was in the cemetery. And this boy just offered a flower to his dead father.
I'm checking out Gabon. Can't find it yet, but writer Tony Perez.
Tony Perez.
There you go.
Yeah. Lito Perez is a designer, I think. Tony Perez is a playwright.
That's correct. Okay.
Nako-confuse ako kalimitan doon. Sorry, Tony.
It's okay. So what happened? You came in, you started doing rehearsals, and what did you do?
The director just asked me, okay, this was going to happen. I just need you to just put a flower on your father's tomb and then sing Ugoy ng Duyan. But I sang.
Wow!
And but he just changed the lyric. Instead of referring to a nanay, I used tatay.
Oh, wow! So you sang.
Yes.
How old were you at this time?
7.
7. That's amazing. So what was it like for you as a child to go through that experience?
It was fascinating. I was fascinated.
Did you have fun?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah. So that's great. And then how did you continue on from there?
Oh, after that, parang it was just it was just an experience for me. Pero that time, I really wanted to be a dancer. That time, ballet dancer.
Ballet.
That was really my first love.
Oh,
to be a ballet dancer.
What happened?
So every summer I took ballet classes, but until my dad discovered it, and during that time, parang syempre nasa province ka, iba yung mindset nila na they would think the ballet is for girls. No. He pulled me out of the class and he asked me to take Kung Fu instead.
What age was this?
That's about 8 and 9.
8 or 9. Okay, but you really loved dance. Wow.
But after that, hindi na ako nagsayaw.
Oh.
So parang kinalimutan ko na yun. Okay, hindi na. Until na-expose naman ako sa singing. Choir. Okay, so na-realize ko, okay, kumakanta sila, bakit hindi ako? So nag-choir ako. Tapos doon na talaga, when I started singing, doon ako nagkaroon talaga ng interest na, okay, gusto ko maging performer. I wanted to be a singer. Pero at that time, my parents, hindi sila convinced, especially my dad. My dad would always describe, parang he would, parating niya sinasaway. to just stop singing because I sounded like a mooing cow.
No!
Yeah!
That's sad! Oh, no!
Kaya, so
Ouch!
pag mag-rehearse ako noon, pag nandiyan si Papa, pag nasa baba siya, akit ako sa taas. Dala ko yung cassette player, nandun yung -1, kakanta ako doon. Pag umakit siya, bababa ako. Until high school ako, so I entered the dance drama organization. They would produce concerts. Yung very first time na nakasama ako dun sa concert, after sa school, wala akong in-invite sa family ko kasi nga, hindi nila nakakanta ako. Until nag-hit yung concert school, so yung school nag-decide sila na to produce a concert outside the school. So parang yung buong Cavite City na yung niya.
Wow.
So I invited my family. And that was the first time my dad heard me talagang sang. Tapos doon siya na-convince siya na singer na talaga ako.
Yay.
Then after a week, he bought me a karaoke machine.
How affirming! How did that make you feel?
I cried. I really cried.
So wonderful. What age were you then?
I was 14 at that
14. So it's established and accepted in your family. You're really an incredible singer, and this is something that you can do. So that's awesome. So how then did you move forward from that to eventually becoming a recording artist?
After high school, I already decided I will really pursue my singing career. So I asked my parents. I was honest with them that I don't want to go to college, that I want to pursue a singing career, and don't force me to go to school. Kasi masasama lang loob nyo kasi tatakas ako. Hindi ako papasok, magkakanta. So, nagkaintindihan kami. So, I think si mom ko, that time, in-enroll niya ako sa music studio ni Ryan Kevya. Summer. Okay, kung gusto mo yan, sige, might as well, you need to have a training. I think I was one of the first para mga students ng music studio ni Ryan Kevya. So, dun sa recital, that was the time that I got discovered by my first manager.
Wow.
Then he launched, that was in May, he launched my singing career in July of the same year, 1987.
So you were 16? Or
17.
17? That's what you were determined. Grabe. You have guts for a child. Many children would have that guts to talk to their children, to their parents, like, no matter what, I'm gonna be a singer. Yes. That's incredible. So, actually, I also went there to the Ryan Kevya studio, so it's very familiar.
Who was your teacher?
Raul, forgot his name. Anyway, it was a good experience. So great. And then, so how did you enter into the industry, and how were you launched?
Okay, I was launched at the Rumors Game Room. And my concert was medyo nagtaas sila ng kilay kasi it was purely invitational.
Ano yun? Hindi ba usual yun?
Hindi. Kasi di ba ang iniisip na nun, kailangan mong kumita, di ba? Kailangan mong magbenta ng ticket. Kami nun, hindi kami nagbeta ng ticket. Idea yun ng manager ko na parang, okay, whatever happens. But siguro also protecting me na kung ano mangyari, hindi ka muna ma-pressure para ka lang para ma-enjoy mo lang, maglaro ka lang.
So, what was it like, that experience of performing as a recording artist for the first time?
During that time, wala pa ako recording
wala
noon.
pa. Okay.
I was just launched as a singer. Pero medyo nag-iba sila kasi after taking the training from music studio, biglang sabi niya, yung image ko noon, maging rock singer ka. So, since I was young and really desperate to have a singing career, so, ginawa ko lang, kinokopya ko kung ano yung tunog nung. I had to forget all the disciplines and the technique that I've learned from my voice lessons and to copy all the rock singers na pinapakinggan ko. So, I had to, when I sing, to do that edging din sa vocal cords. So, it went on for a year until, that time wala pa akong recording, but my manager was able to parang find producers to produce my shows at the Rumors Game Room. I did. After my launching concert, 2 months after, no, a month after, because it was July, then September I had another show, then November I had another show,
Wow.
then Feb of the next year, 1988, that was my last show in Rumors Game when my throat bled.
No!
Yes.
Oh, you're too young to bleed. Wow. So,
Na-damage na yun nun. So, nagkaroon na akong nodules.
because you were like rock star singing, screaming style?
Then no technique at all. I had to forget the technique that I've learned from my voice teacher. So I was just copying the sound without realizing that rock singers, they were able to sustain that because maybe the technique is not really the technique, but it's a lifestyle. It's an energy. They have that energy. So, kaya sumusunod yung muscle ko. But since for me, it was just I'm copying. It was just a put on. It's not my lifestyle. I came from the Frog Province, Cavite. So, yun. So, eventually, bumigay yung throat ko.
There's another question I have from you. If you came from the province and then you move into the city, I mean, what was that transition like? Or was that a transition for you?
Not really, because pupunta lang ako sa city to establish my career, but basically based pa rin ako nun sa Cavite.
Okay.
But meron pa rin siya, kasi pagdating mo doon, hindi ka pa rin ganun ka-confident. Meron ka pa rin pag-iisip na, iba dito sa Maynila, parang ganun. Iba yung mga tao dito. So, nahihirapan akong, mahiyain ako. So, hindi ako makikipag-usap hanggang hindi ako kausapin. Ganun yung ano ko. Before, so, magkakaroon sa na impression na suplado ako or ano, pero actually nahihiya lang ako noon. And it went on until I think dala ko yun until nung naging recording artist na ako. It was only then nung nag-theater na ako na nawala sa akin yung ganun.
So, you were bleeding and you came from the province. Did you have at least family with you when that was happening? Nung nagdudugo na yung ano mo, like...
My family was there during the show.
Okay.
But kasi it happened during the show while I was singing. I forgot what song ko kinakanta ko. Basta pa nakaramdam ako na parang napunit sa loob.
No.
Tapos pag-exit ko, pag-spit ko, may blood na siya. So,
what did you have
Paula
to do?
Luz, you know Paula Luz?
No.
She was my guest.
Okay.
So, she had to continue the show.
Oh.
And I was already rushed into the hospital.
How did that shift, if anything?
Ang nangyari noon, I didn't talk for a month and I didn't sing for 3 months. So, but when I went back to singing, kasi I was a tenor that time, nawala yung range ko, so I had to start again. And it took me years para maibalik ulit. Pero it parang nag-leave siya ng permanent damage. At the same time, it's good and it's bad. Kasi it's good kasi nagkaroon parang naka-add siya dun sa pagiging distinct ng sound.
Oo.
Kasi yung vocal cords ko hindi na siya nagsasara. Kasi ba, parang meron siyang punit, meron siyang pag chinek mo, parang siyang merong hourglass na hole dun sa vocal cords.
Oh my gosh. And yet, you are still.
So it took me years. In fact, when I recorded my first album on the first song, I couldn't sing the song in derecho, so I had to record it per stanza. That's why when I was promoting my album, pero during that time naman kasi hindi naman din uso yung live singing, especially sa TV noon. So it's always parang a playback, so magli-lip sync ka. Very seldom na merong live noon sa TV. So in a way, swerte ko. Pero kung kagaya siguro ko ngayon, di ako maglalas. So, kaya pati nung time na early, ng career ko, nagko-concert ako. But when I had a hit song, hindi na ako, nawala na yung concerts. Because I couldn't anymore. My vocal cords cannot, parang hindi niya masusustain. Wala akong stamina. Usually after the second song, hindi ko na kaya. The third song, wala na akong boses. Kaya nung time, nung meron akong hit song, hindi ako nakakapag-concert o hindi ko din siya parati nakakanta ng live.
That must have been... Did it like affect you emotionally or like...
It did, pati yung confidence ko lang sa singing. So pag may mga live singing na kinakabahan na ako, it's only when, yun nga, na nag-try na ako ng theater and I did my first musical. Tapos Tapos, doon na, bumalik ulit ako ng voice lessons. And my teacher was Jai Sabas Arakama.
Yes, I know her.
She was very good. Very patient with me.
Amazing. So, okay, so you had some really, how many hit songs did you have?
My major hit was, my signature song was Sana Naman by Benny Saturno.
I have heard that, and I've heard other people cover that. Yeah.
And then then there's the follow-up single also went up to the chart. That's Alang Alang Sayo, also by Benny Saturno. Then my second album, I did a revival, a cover of Ray Valera's Naaalala Ka.
So you're well known, you're rising idol, and then what happened? Look, first of all, I want to know, what was it like when you were experiencing all of these?
What do you mean? In terms
as far as like I could like you're on the TV
it was
shows.
really a dream come true. I never thought that I would reach that. I would be able to achieve that dream na okay na maging sikat. So, pero at the same time, it was scary for me. Kasi nga, parang dun ko na-realize, nakakatakas siya, parang nawawala na yung privacy mo, na I would wake up in the morning na may mga tao sa bahay, ang dami-daming tao sa bahay na hindi ako sanay. Yes, para akong albularyo.
Oh my
As in, kasi may skinita papunta doon sa bahay ko sa Cavite, kasi I was still living in Cavite. Paggising mo pa lang sa umaga, yung tao hindi na uubos. Parating meron.
Really?
Because there's one, meron pang isang, may isa pang instance na natutulog ako, nagising ako, may humalik sa akin, pagtingin ko hindi ko kilala.
Oh no!
A fan.
Oh no!
So,
wasn't that scary?
Very scary.
Yikes! Oh boy. So, how did you handle security in that, like, crush of people?
Pag ganun, I make sure, but I tell them, kaya diniscourage ko na magtayo sila ng mga fans club kasi pag ganun, yung relationship mo, parang meron ka ng obligasyon sa kanila eh. I never had a fan club. Parating sinasabi ko lang, okay, let's just be friends. Ganun lang parating. So I could still keep my distance.
Wow. Incredible.
Pero it didn't get into my head because I guess it's also my family. They don't treat me like as a star. Pagdating sa bahay, ganun ka pa rin. They would always shatter my ego, especially my sister. There was this one time na
sakit naman ang shatter.
Oo, totoo talaga. Babagsak kanila, hindi ka pwedeng musikat-sikat. Kapag ito sa bahay, hindi. Itong sister ko, salbahe to, kasi magpapasokan. So usually, di ba, pag mamimili ka ng gamit. So nag-offer ako, sige, mag-shopping tayo. So pinakamalapit is Harrison Plaza. So went to Harrison Plaza. Sunday. Tapos pagdating doon, nag-start na, nag-create na ng mob. Parang that I would remember, yung Harrison Plaza, kailangan nilang ng 4 na security para i-escort ako palabas ng building. So hindi kami nakapag-shopping ng matino kasi nga nagkakaroon na ng mob doon sa Harrison Plaza. So umuwi kami. Tapos pauwi kami, sabi ng sister ko, "Kuya, ang dami mong fans, ano?" Sabi ko, "Oo." Sabi niya, "Sunday kasi ngayon eh." Ano ngayon? Day off kasi.
I don't get it. What?
Day off kasi sinasabi yung mga fans ko daw are, I'm sorry, this is during that time, this is just a joke. So, sabi niya kasi day off, sabi niya kasi, so all of my fans are, this is not really, I don't know if it's politically correct.
What?
Pero she would tease me na, my fans are kasambahay, the maids.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Wednesday, bumalik ulit kami. No? Salbahay nga yung sister ko na yun eh. So, pagbalik namin doon, wala pumapansin sa amin, nakakapag-shopping na kami. So, tumitingin siya sa akin, Wednesday ngayon, no? Tingnan niya ako, niloko niya akong ganyan. So, bahid kami sa National Book, so may lumapit sa akin na naka-uniform ako, lehiyala. Tapos, nagpasign ng autograph. So, habang nagpasign ako ng autograph, tingnan ko sa sister ko, sabi mo na, Pagdating sa sasakyan, sabi niya, ang swerte naman nun. Sabi ko, bakit? Kasi nagpakasign sila ng autograph? Hindi. Kasi pinag-aaral siya ng amo niya.
Oh, cool.
So, paano ka naman magkakaroon ng ego kung ganun yung family mo?
She sounds like a cool girl. Wow, that's funny. Well, what were some of the pinnacle moments of your time as a matinee idol? I mean, you said some of the like scary moments. What were some of the pinnacle moments?
It's when you're performing and you see na nagka-come across ka, tapos nakita mo nag-enjoy yung audience na nung nag-start ako noon sa nakumanta sa school, pinapangarap mo lang siya, and now it's really there na pinapakinggan ka ng kumanta.
Wow. Okay.
And reading the fan mails. And I make sure ako yung sumasagot. Walang ibang.
Ang dami na na.
To this day, pero nung paenda ng career ko, hanggang ngayon, meron pang isang sako ng fan mails na hindi ko pa nabuksan.
Seriously? Oh my gosh!
Sabi ko, I'll save that. I'll read that when I turn 60.
What? So what happened to other fan mail? Did you throw them out?
No.
You still kept all of them?
All of them.
Ay, wow! That's so great. Okay. So now, what happened and what made you do the shift?
I was already in that point. This happened in my second year. That I wanted to be an artist, to be known as an artist more than just a matinee idol. So I wanted to be my first idea was to be a songwriter, a producer-songwriter. Tingin ko pag magiging artist ako, I have this parang yung thirst to be an artist, no, artistic Pero hindi naman ako inallow ng record label ko at time. But I understand because it's a business and they don't want to take the risk. So ang sabi niya, just stick to what you're doing. Parang ganun lang yan niya. So na-disappoint ako. Then my manager, parang plano naman niya, my manager that time, mas malawak yung tingin niya sa career ko noon. Sabi niya, kailangan mas long term. So, pag gusto mo i-develop yung artistry mo, you should try different, yung ng performing. So, in-encourage na ako to take acting workshop. So, my first acting workshop was with Gantimpala Theater Foundation. And he was able to convince Tony Espejo to take me in as his scholar. So, yun yung first exposure ko sa theater. And after that, I enjoyed it. Sabi ko, this is what I want.
Incredible. What was your age at that point?
That was in 1992. I think I was already 21 or 22 years old.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so, what happened after that? Because I remember you told me about this other way that you learned acting that was very interesting as well.
So after that, I went on after that workshop. I was able to do other musicals. After my first Broadway musical was Once on This Island, produced by Dong Alegre and was directed by Bernardo.
Oh yes.
Yun. Tapos after that, I auditioned sa Grease, starring Lea Salonga. Na-cast din ako doon. Played one of the Burger Palace boys.
I think I saw that one.
I played Doody. And in that production, that was siguro yung best gift or best thing that ever happened to me in that production, aside from performing with Lea Salonga.
Yes.
So, they hired an American director. Parang support siya ng director kasi ang nangyari, the original director, a Filipino director, was fired and the original choreographer was also fired. So the two guys from Broadway that they hired ended up directing and doing the choreography. So because one of the cast is also the director, so yung nag-request sa production kung pwede i-fly in yung friend niya just to be his artistic eye. So ang tawag dito, para masulit yung pag-fly in dito dun sa another guy, require nila na to give classes sa cast. So, kung ang call time namin sa 6 o'clock, kailangan 3 o'clock kasi may 2 hours kami na magkaklase with him. At doon na I think he became my friend, and that yung klase niya was really, really parang something. It was really a gift. Doon nag-sink in sa akin yung importance ng technique.
What's his name?
Michael Ellison. I'm still in touch with him.
Wow.
You know. Well, it's easier now because of the technology.
What specifically did you learn from him?
That he introduced me to that energy thing. How important sa musical theater, what is important is you know how to use your energy. So siya yung nagbigay sa akin ng introduction about using the energy.
Okay.
Then after that, next ko is yun nga, you were talking about Bobby Garcia, di ba?
Yeah.
He was my director when I did Chess, the musical, and that production really changed my life. Kasi I played, he casted me as Gregor Vassi. It was a key role. The father of the female lead was being played by Monique Wilson, si Florence Vassi. So yung father niya, dun sa story, parang I only had 2 scenes. The prologue and second to the last scene. So the first one, siguro mga nasa 30 years old yung age ng father, kasi baby pa yung character ng Monique nung pinamigay ko. Tapos yung balik ko as an 80-year-old Hungarian, and I sang a Hungarian lullaby. And that time, ang acting coach was Ana Valdez Lim. Wow. And she gave, again, yun, nagbigay din siya ng classes. And kaya sabi ko, I owe half of my career to Ana Valdez Lim, the training this, because I think idol ko yun eh. As a teacher, she's very encouraging. Wala kang gagawing mali. And
it's wonderful.
So yun. And it did change my life kasi that was a time na I think I sealed my name as a serious actor. Kasi parang they thought, especially nung sa mga lumabas na yung mga reviews, that there may mga reactions na they thought they hired 2 different actors for the part.
So where does Nestor Torre come in?
2 years after Chess, then I auditioned for Celeste Legaspi's company. They were producing Sino Pa Ba Jose Rizal. I think it was a co-production with Concert at the Park at that time. So those before para dun sa December 31 yung death anniversary ni Jose Rizal. So I think we opened December 27 until December 31 or December 30, I guess.
Okay.
So yun, when I auditioned for him, he remembered me because he saw me in Chess. So he was really interested. Kinuha niya ako na mag-part doon. But he challenged me. He gave me 8 characters to play.
In one production?
In that production.
Oh my gosh.
Sabi niya, kaya mo mag-transform, di ba? Yun ang sabi niya sa akin kasi, di ba, yun yung ginawa mo sa Chess. So, tignan natin kung hanggang saan mo kaya. So, he gave me 8 characters.
What was that like? I mean, you said that he had kind of a interesting, what was it? Rehearsal technique? What tell me about
Very,
it.
very strict. So, I think, sayang nga for young actors, iba pag dumaan ka kay Nestor Torre. Doon mo maano talaga. Because it's very strict. It's very, and high standard yung niya. He will really demand blood, sweat, and tears from you. And wala siyang wini-waste na time sa rehearsals. Kapag pagdating mo doon, kung ang call time mo is at 9 o'clock, nandun na siya ng earlier than 9 o'clock. Tapos pagdating mo, sino unang makita niya i-rehearse? So kahit pasabihin mo nasa chorus cut at yung singing part mo ay harmony, kakantahin mo yung buong harmony, mag-ilang ikaw mag-isa.
Okay, and what was the name of the show?
Sino Ka Ba Jose Rizal? Tapos after that, he again got me to do Magnificat. There was a touring production. And I stayed for 4 months in doing Magnificat.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And so what specifically did you learn from Nestor Torre?
It's really taking the craft seriously and learning to really pay attention on the details when it comes to characterization. Kasi would really ask you, diba, gusto niya mag-change ka if you have playing a different characters. Tapos gagawin niya yun, iikot ka lang dun sa kabilang set, paglabas mo ibang tao ka na. Up to the smallest detail, pati yung medyas mo, papalitan mo. Hindi pwedeng hindi. At mag-quick change ka at kailangan on time darating ka. Hindi ka pwedeng malilate at gawin mo excuse sa kanya na hindi kaya ng quick change. You would say, no, pag sinasabi namin sa SM, sabihin mo naman kay Direk, hindi talaga uubra. Sabihin, Direk, no, don't mind those actors. They're just giving excuses. Do not believe. Do not believe them. Ganyan ang sabi niya.
So when you, let's say you do something that he doesn't like how does he, like what's the consequence? I'm just curious, like what does he do? Does he yell at you?
Of course, you will never hear the end of it. To the point na, yun ang masakit doon. Kasi pag yung paulit-ulit yung notes, and saka yun din, sinabi niya na ang aso lang ang binibigyan ng maraming instruction.
Ouch.
Yeah! Diba? Parang sabi niya, ang tao, isang beses na lang nasabihan.
Oh my gosh.
So pag dumating ka dun sa point na paulit-ulit na yung note sa'yo, hindi ka niya tatawagin sa first name mo. Ang tawag niya na sa'yo, lalaki. Babae. Yeah. Tapos sabihin niya sa SM, sabihin mo nga dyan sa babaeng yan, itong gawin niya. Hindi ka niya nakakausapin.
What age were you at this point?
I was already in my mid-20s, siguro 25, 26.
Mid-20s. And by this time, you are fully ensconced in the theater world, right? Yeah. And so, was that near the time that you joined AC or later pa?
Later pa.
Yeah, much later pa.
Much
Yeah.
later pa.
Yeah.
That was kasi, I think it was in 1998, I think. Or 97. No, 96. 96 pa 97.
Okay, alright. So, I'm just curious. So, you worked with, what's his name? Michael Ellison, Annabelle Valdez-Lim, Nestor Torre, who else?
After Nestor Torre, my first encounter with Tony Mabesa and Jose Estrella when I did Elias at Salome. That was right after Sino Ka Ba Jose Rizal. Kasi Sino Ka Ba Jose Rizal hanggang December 30. Tapos, Feb of 1997, we opened na yung Elias at Salome. So, January, after kay Nestor, lipat kagad ako kay Tony Mabesa.
How fast. And what did you do and what was your role?
Played Elias, the lead.
Oh, that's right. Parang I saw, did you also play Elias in Gantimpala Theater Foundation? Kasi parang I saw
Cancer.
Okay. Was that after or before this Elias?
After. And also after my stint with AC. So, mid-30s na ako nung nag-play ako ng Elias sa Gantimpala.
So, what was it like to work with Tony Mabesa, the now national artist?
Kay Tony Mabesa naman, ang natutunan ko doon is grace, and at the same time, yung importance ng blocking. Ang galing mag-block ni Tony Mabesa. Very precise. Tapos, kasama sa linya mo, yung movement na binibigay niya sa'yo. And it's always like a ballet. Ganun yung blockings ni Sir Tony.
Oh, interesting. I guess for you as someone interested in dance, that was something that resonated with you. And you said that when he would get mad, that it would get interesting.
As in super terror talaga. When he loses his temper, during that time. I think nag-mellow naman siya nung mas latter part nung directing career na. Pero that time, kung kaya Nestor Torre, darating mag-result siya doon sa hindi kanya tatawagin ng name mo, si Tony Mabesa can be physical.
Wow.
But thank God I didn't experience that.
But you saw it.
I saw it.
You saw
I
it.
saw it.
Yeah.
That first time ko nanlamig talaga ako from my feet going up.
Yeah, I remember when you told me about that. So was that your first experience playing in UP, in the UP?
My first.
Mm-hmm. So what was it like from moving into this academic environment and working in with these students? I suppose you had to work with some students. It was like
Sa UP? Yeah, scary kasi alam mo talaga pinag-aaralan nila yung craft nila. So mas challenge and you have to speak their language.
And di ba UP has this sort of, they think, or it's not that they think, but parang they're like the pinnacle supposedly of theater education in the nation.
Because they have the proper training. So mas malawak yung scope ng training niya, hindi lang talaga workshop. Kasi diba, ito pinag-aaralan talaga nila. It's their course.
So, it's really amazing kasi you really have worked with all the broad spectrum of all of these theater mavens. But I have not heard the group yet. There's like one group that I haven't heard yet. Rap? Did you work with Rap?
Almost. Almost.
Okay.
I auditioned for their once on this their version of once on this island. Nakapasok naman ako, pero during rehearsal, sobra akong natakot kay Bibot.
Wow. Pero you said that eventually you realized she was acting. Tama ba yun?
Yeah, kasi yung sobrang galit niya, parang for her age, parang dapat nag-pass out na siya. So, at the same time, parang feeling ko, it was a show. It was a show.
Yeah.
But, siguro ko sa iba nag-work, pero sa akin kapag gano'n, hindi ako makakagalaw eh. Kapag gano'n, sobrang nakakatakot na ng gano'n. Kasi kay Tony Mabesa, I didn't experience it until it was already our dress rehearsal. Pero yung buong process, hindi naman siya gano'n. Hindi naman siya gano'n. Or even kay Nestor Torre, hindi naman din. Pero yun lang, parang kasi nangyari nun, parang isang babae lang, isang cast member lang yun na late. And for almost an hour, she was really galit at parang hindi ko kaya. Natakot na talaga ako. Natakot na ako.
So, but I know that later on you worked with some of their most illustrious, of course, Lea Salonga, of course. Yeah. So that's great. And what's next?
After Tony Mabesa, I also experienced being directed by, again, a national artist. It was his last production, the great Rolando Tino.
Wow.
When we did the Larawan, the musical.
It's wonderful. And who are your
Celeste Legaspi playing Candida, Jaja Padilla playing Paula. It was really
incredible. So what was your role?
Bitoy Camacho.
That's huge. That is a huge role for that.
And it was my first time to perform in the main theater. CCP main theater.
Incredible. And what was it like to step in the main theater and finally perform there?
Nakakatakot siya, pero ang sarap.
Wow. Parang,
the first movie,
I made it here. Parang ganun. Did it feel like that?
Nung first, yung movie namin sa theater, parang I made sure I was there early and I was on the stage. I just sat there for 30 minutes. Center stage. Just sat there for 30 minutes. So, okay, finally here. The main theater.
Wow. So, I imagine that must have been a high point. And then what happened next?
Then I joined Tanghalang Filipino.
Why did you shift into that?
It was Chris Meliado's fault.
Why? Why fault?
No, he's the one who encouraged me, and because of him, I got in. Not as a scholar, but as a senior member kagad. It was a time na marami sa mga senior members nila na nag-resign. So, wala nang maiiwan. And noon that time, although hindi pa ako na-direct ni Chris, nagkakilala pa lang kami, pero nakikita niya na ako during, especially that time, very active field stage. They were doing parang may mga performances sa Shangri-La Mall, they call it the Buhay. So parang it's a theater festival. Tapos mag-attend si Chris, makita niya, nasa 3 companies ako parating ganyan. Until na-realize, sabi niya, I see you everywhere. Sabi sa akin ni Chris, ang nakakatawa, alam mo saan yun, when he invited me sa Enchanted Kingdom. That time, we were doing a review of Celeste Gaspi's company, yung MTP pang tawag nun, Musical Theater Philippines. So we were doing a review of all of their productions, the produced shows. So ginawa namin into parang isang buong for Enchanted Kingdom. So nagpe-perform kami doon sa food at sa food court area.
I love that!
Sa food court area. Di ba may mini-stage doon?
I've been there!
So doon kami nagpe-perform ng kanilang musical Theater Philippines in review.
Wow.
So biglang dumaan si Chris. Kita niya ako. Tapos after ng show, sabi niya, talaga naman. Sabi niya sa akin, alam mo, ikaw yung pokpok ng teatro. Siya yung nagbinyag sa akin ng pokpok. Sabi niya, tama na yung pagpupokpok mo. Halika na. I mean, gusto mo bang sumama sa Actors Company?
Wow. So prior to that was the time that we were sabay-sabay, you were doing different production all at the same time, right? And I think I asked you this before, but tell me, what was it that motivated you to do that? Like, it must have been stressful, right? If you're trying to remember everything for 3 different roles all at the same time.
It was challenging. I love that yung challenge na pinupost nung doing all this production. Tapos, and just the chance to do rehearsals and to be on stage and perform. It went to the point nga na parang yung worth mo as a person nakadepende dun sa work na ginagawa mo. I remember I would have breakdowns if I don't get in. Yung self-worth mo nakadepende dun sa work na gagawin mo.
Hindi naman healthy yun, di ba?
For a while,
you're still growing up. Yeah.
Yung siguro yung escape nung nandun ka sa na nagpe-perform ka and portraying different characters. Living another life.
What is your technique for memorizing 3 different roles at the same time with,
I think that's one of my strengths. Even when I was in school.
How do you do it?
I don't know. Maano lang talaga maganda lang talaga yung memory ko.
Wow! I can't, because I mean, for me, it's challenging even just to really concentrate on just one production. And for you to do all three at the same time and memorize all the blocking and all the director's notes and everything, it's unbelievable. Like, you're really a genius.
I don't know. Nagkataon lang siguro talaga na maganda yung memory ko talaga. Maski nung sa school ko, yun yung strength ko. Huwag mo akong bigyan ng math. Pero bigyan mo ako ng anything na memorize. Okay sa akin.
There's something about your brain that's really incredible. I mean, not a normal person cannot do what you were able to do. And there's stories about you na parang, basta, you can... It's really so impressive. Wala ka bang technique na pwedeng maturo kung paano mo, baka meron kang technique na pwedeng ma-share?
How to memorize?
Yeah. Wala? So, anong ginagawa mo? Parang binabasa mo lang, tapos alam mo na, gano'n? Your photographic memory?
I think, sasabi nila, pero kasi alam ko, maski ako meron akong memories ng childhood ko from 4 years old. And vividly. Actually, I still remember.
Pwede ba tanungin ko yun?
Yeah, yung mga yaya ko noon at saka yung birthday party ng kapitbahay namin. Kasi naalala ko kasi sa cake niya merong parang Ferris wheel.
Oo. Wow.
At 4 years old, kinuha ko yun kagad sa cake niya. Bago pa niya yung cake niya. Kaya parang nakagalitan ako. Because I was so fascinated dun sa Ferris wheel dun sa cake.
So you grab the Ferris wheel? Okay.
Tsaka nararamdaman ko yung time na kaya ko siya i-memorize kaagad. So pag wala yung feeling na yon, hindi ko siya itatry i-memorize. Pero pag naramdaman ko na, oy, kaya ko to. Minsan pag ganyan ko lang, okay na.
Ha?
Meron yang isang, I think, isang production na sa tanghalan.
Oo.
Pero hindi pa ako actors company nun. It was Tibag. Para siya, it's a moro-moro, komedya. Tapos biglang si Nonon, bigla siyang may binigay na bagong lines dun sa character na gagampanan ko. I was alternating with Ding Mercado. Tapos, binigay niya, tinignan ko lang siguro. Tapos, nung tinry niya na yung scene, nag-drop script na ako.
What?
Yeah.
Isang tingin mo lang drop script ka na?
Oo, isang binasa ko lang. Tapos, nag-drop script na ako. Ginawa, I did the scene.
You know, I guess that's one of your secret weapons.
Memorization, siguro.
It must be, because a lot of people struggle with that. Like, you know, I mean, if you go in there, you don't even know, even if you don't know part of your lines, forget it. Like, who cares if you can act? Diba? You cannot, even if you're a great actor, you don't remember your lines, forget it. And parang I don't know which actor it is, it said, just show up and say your lines. Diba? That's all. And then, you know, you just have to be present. Just show up and say your lines. So,
I remember nung ginawa namin yun, nung memorize ko kagad, paglabas ko ng stage, gusto akong patayin ng mga cast.
Bakit?
Parang na-pressure sila sa akin kasi...
Oh my God, you're a genius! You're like a savant! Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So you were an AC, so you were senior agad. And you said when we talked about that before that that was very challenging because
ito na yung totoong training kasi. Parang it demands so much from your time. From Tuesday to Friday meron kang klase. Tapos may shows ka ng Friday evening, then 2 shows ng Saturday, Sunday. Tapos right after ng last show ng Sunday, meron kang rehearsals ulit. Tapos yung pahinga mo Monday, pero hindi mo pa rin gagamitin na pahinga kasi may mga research ka pang kailangan gawin dun sa ibang klase. Usually sa acting class.
oh my gosh.
And yung mga classes namin doon, yung curriculum niya is you have the acting class, and you have voice for theater, you have improvisation class, you have a mask class, then sa movement, you have the mask class, then you have a dance class. Iba pa yung nagbabago ko siya, depende kasi kung ano yung paghahandaan yung production. So that time, meron kaming wushu, at saka another half of the term, wushu, and half the term is flamenco.
May flamenco pa! Sa'yo nun
Oh, iba pa yun sa talagang ballet, yung basic ballet with Ena Vida.
Ay, my dream is to dance flamenco. Ay, nakakainis naman.
Ang saya ng flamenco.
I love flamenco.
I love doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bagay
na bagay. Can imagine. Oh my gosh.
Pero masakit sa ganito, lalo sa lalaki.
Talaga.
Kasi dun sa klase, wala kang gano'n.
Nakaganyan ka lang, di ba?
Oo.
Hindi ka nakakataas lahat yung arms mo.
Oo.
Saya nun. Saya nun. I have a friend who is a flamenco freak. He's a guy as well. So, so you're a senior AC member. You're doing, so you said you deliver 8 shows, like 8 shows a day, something like that.
No, the time, no. 8 show ng season.
A season.
Mm.
And you're teaching the interns, sir.
At ito yung time na yon during kay Chris Meliado na hiniwalay niya yung senior and apprentice dun sa scholars. So, ang ginawa niya, may mga yung senior members, kami yung magtuturo ng basic acting sa scholars. Tapos, at the same time, sa advanced acting, nag-aaral din kami. So, hindi kami magkasabay. May mga classes na hindi kami magkasabay kasi kami yung teacher. Except sa ilang classes like yung kay Ana Valdez na improv, yun yung company class. Kay Ana Valdez na improv, sa voice for, yung singing for singing, at saka sa movement, saka sa ballet. Pero yung sa script analysis, sa acting, magkahiwalay. Kami ang teachers. Hindi, maski sa voice for theater pala, kami din na nagtuturo. So sa singing lang pala, ang company class na namin kay Ana Valdez sa improv at saka sa movement and ballet, yun lang. Pero magkaiba. So, yung preparation namin sa pag-aaral, magpe-prepare din kami ng ituturo. Kaya talagang sobrang overload talaga siya. Information overload.
Wow. So, parang naisip ko, parang na rin yun. Nakatapos ka na ng conservatory in 3 years. Parang actor studio ka na plus pa.
Oo. Tapos since ako yung senior actor, so sa lahat ng mga productions, ako yung nakakast. So I have 5 scripts. Yung show nagka-open mo lang, then the next show, then you have another script for your acting class, you have another script for your script analysis class.
And you have 5 scripts, and your photographics, so you just look at them and you know all of them already?
Some.
And
usually, pag sabing drop script, ako yung parating unang naka-drop script.
Unbelievable. That is...
But I make sure din kasi na by the time mag-blocking kami, naka-drop script na ako. Kasi mas nahihirapan ako ng ginagawa mo ng makeup.
Of course, yeah, of course. But I'm sure you're the only one, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you're the only one. I don't know of any human that does that. Everyone, that's Roeder Camañag for you. Okay. So, I was really curious about that. Because you can't do the quote unquote pokbok lumba. You can't do that if you didn't have incredible skills. And so anyway, AC, what was your pinnacle point in AC? If any. Or which ones? I'm sure marami yun.
When I played Macbeth.
Was it in Tagalog?
Tagalog.
Tino,
and it was a dance, it was a movement piece. So hindi lahat nung lines ni Macbeth, pero usually mag-start lang kami. It was Chris Meliado's direction. So yung first part ng mga speech, yung sa speech ni Macbeth hanggang kalahati, and the rest itutuloy ng chorus, naglagay siya ng Greek chorus, tapos igagalaw namin. Mag-movement kami. And it was a pinnacle kasi ang alternate ako ng idol ko.
Sino?
Nonoy Froilan. The Nonoy Froilan. It was...
He's a dancer, di ba?
So that time, mag-asawa, si Edna Vida and Nonoy Froilan, they were both playing Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. But since na senior member kami and senior apprentice, yung isang friend ko, si Tex Ordonez, so kami yung alternate nila.
Teka, sandali lang. So, ibig sabihin mo, na-fulfill yung dream mo na the ballet dancer ka?
In a way, parang just the idea of yung maging alternate ka nung idol mo, the Nonoy Froilan, and working with Nonoy Froilan.
That's amazing.
It was...
So when you say that dance, were you still saying the words of Tino? All of it?
After pag nag-convert na siya sa movement, ang tumutuloy na nun yung chorus. Tapos, kaya habang sinasabi nila yung lines, ikaw naman, may mga movement ka. But of course, I cannot do the Nonoy Froilan at iba siyempre si Nonoy Froilan. So, nung una, napapressure ako, natatakot ako. But again, sabi ni Nonoy, huwag mo akong gayahin kung ano yung nararamdaman mo sa katawan mo. But maybe meron din man kaming training din sa kanya kasi he would lead the warm-ups, meron kami at least an hour na klase before mag-start.
Wow.
Pero, pagdating ng opening night, pinnacle din kasi I received, siguro, again, it was a life-changing experience for me because of these two great artists. Yung humility nila, sobra. That's why they're really beautiful people, beautiful soul, beautiful artists. Kasi they're very generous. Considering that, di ba, yung stature nila as an artist, they are the Edna Vida and the Nonoy Froilan, but they're still very humble, very generous. In fact, during my opening night, he went backstage to check on me. And that time, sobrang kaba ko kasi, di ba, following after Nonoy Froilan, he opened and it's my show. Natatakot ako dun sa, I might fall in, ang tawag dito, fail in comparison to Nonoy Froilan. So, inabutan niya ako, nakikipag-lips to lips ako sa toilet bowl kasi I was vomiting. I was really vomiting. Tapos lapit lang, okay lang yan. Huwag mo kong isipin, kaya mo yan. Pagdating mo doon, do not even think of me. It's you. Tapos si Edna Vida, that was the best advice I ever received from a great artist. Sabi niya, okay lang yan. Sabi niya ganyan. If you fail, then so be it. Sabi niya, do not be afraid of failure because it will give you character. Too much success will make you a wimp.
She said that?
Yes. And it changed my life.
That's a meme. Can I make that a meme? That's so great.
Sabi niya, failure, that is our vitamins. It's the vitamin of an artist.
She was telling you that while you were vomiting?
Yeah.
Huh? So you mean mag-asawa sila, they're trying to talk to you while you're having this parang moment? Unbelievable. That's incredible.
That's why to this day I call her my angel. I refer to her as my angel.
They really are angels. They are angels. Amazing. Okay. So how long were you in AC?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. So that's about that's a length of that's a length of a MFA.
Oh, yeah.
plus ka pa. Honors ka pa. Oh my gosh. Okay. So ilan taong ka na nun?
Mid-30s na.
Mid-30s ka.
Yeah, yun nga yung regret ko that I joined AC nung ganong edad when wala na akong masyadong energy.
Ha? Wala ka masyadong energy?
Oo, kasi pagkatapos kaya ako umalis sa AC, parang feeling ko mamamatay na ako if I stay for another year. Kasi gawa yun, di ba, yung pagod mo na halos wala ka ng buhay kasi uuwi ka late. Tapos pagising mo, late ka na for your work. Ganon, wala ka ng time really
so,
for yourself. So,
na-burnout ka?
Burnout talaga.
Paano naman, hindi naman talaga, the way that it was set up is talagang mababurnout ka talaga.
Pero kung bata ka, I think, siguro yung mas bata, mas masusustain nila.
Pero at least, 3 years is a good chunk of time. And you were cast all the time. So, that's amazing. So, what happened after that?
Pag-alis ko ng AC, doon ako talaga mas nag-open na sa akin talaga yung need ko to teach.
Teka, sandali lang. Hindi mo pinag-usapan pa kung how did you get in film?
Film? My first film was Rizal. With Cesar Montano, yung kay Marilu Diaz Abaya. After she saw me doing Bitoy, she saw me playing Bitoy. Tapos sabi niya, I think si Bernardo yung katabi niya. Di ba yung version niya ng Rizal, parang nabubuhay yung characters ni Rizal sa Noli and Fili. So, kailangan niya, sa pagdating sa Fili, nagpe-play ng Ibarra Simon, si Joel Torre. Tapos, naghahanap siya ng Basilio at saka Isagani. Tapos, nung pinanonood niya ako nun sa Bitoy, sinabi niya na kay Bernardo na, I found my Basilio. Okay. Tapos right after ng closing, I received a call from the production and asking me that, and telling me that Marilu Diaz wants me to do a screen test.
Anong feeling mo nung you got that call from Marilu?
I can't believe it. Parang I had to pinch myself. Kung parang cliche na I had to pinch myself. And maski nung first day nung screen test ko, na kinakausap niya ako, wala akong naririnig. Parang I was just looking at her. Tinitignan ko na paano yung bumubuka yung bibig niya. Parang wala nagsasink in sa akin kung ano sinasabi niya.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, kasi she's a big-time director and you got a big role agad, right? Wow. And what was that like, doing that first film? That's kind of a big film.
We yung scene namin sa sa vegan. But I made sure na pag yung call time ko, I was there 2 hours before. Nandun na kagad ako. Sabi ko, nauuna pa ako, nandun na ako. Kasi natakot akong takot talaga ako. But she's very encouraging. Hindi naman siya terror.
Iba siguro yung culture din ng film. Okay.
Tapos my next film was yung Evolution na with Love Diaz.
So ano nga yung storya? Kung paano how did you suddenly get involved with somebody who's now called like one of the greatest directors in cinema globally? Like
Love Diaz.
Yes.
So during that, there was the time na, wala na ako sa AC noon eh. Hindi. Nasa AC pa pala ako. Kasi tumakas lang pala ako nung nag-shoot ako doon. Booking talaga ako. Nag-stay siya namin sa Cavite kasi isang cast, isang kaibigan ko na actress din at time, girlfriend niya. Tapos part siya nung mag-Holy Week yun eh. Kasi my brother and I, may sinet up kami na community-based theater, church-based community theater. Tapos every Holy Week, we're staging Daan ng Cruz na musical para ng Passion of Christ. Pero ginawa namin siya musical version. Tapos part ng cast doon yun. So during rehearsals, kasama parati si Love. So he would stay in our house. Tapos napanood niya yung show. Basta sabi lang niya, sige, sama kita sa next film ko. Kala ko, ano lang. Until I got a call na deep text message pala na, yun nga, part ako nung Evolution. Meron akong role doon.
Wow.
Tapos, nag-shoot kami sa Baguio, sa Benguet. That was my first. Tapos, ang nakakatawa, kasi binigay niya sa akin ahead of time yung script. So, minemorize ko na. Okay, dali lang naman. Pero pagdating sa set, sabi niya, may changes pala. Ano yun? Pipi yung role mo.
Bigla wala na yung words.
Nung sinabi niya, nakatingin lang ako sa kanya. Kasi ko, seryoso? Akala ko nga playtime. Seryoso. Bakit? Anong bakit? Pipi siya. Sabi ko, paano kung gagawin ko? Hindi ako marunong mag-sign language. Hindi mo kailangan mag-sign language, mag-improvise ka. Okay. Sige, gano'n. Sabi niya, kailangan mo mag-improvise kasi nasa bundok sila, minero sila, so wala naman silang time para bigyan ka ng education. So just think of it na nakapag-devise kayo ng form, paano ka mag-communicate. So, okay, made sense. So, buti na lang yung tatay ko doon, yung co-star ko doon, si Ronnie Lazaro, na matagal ko ng kaibigan. So, it was easy. So, nag-usap lang kami, ganito, ganyan.
Parang nag-invento ko ng sarili mong sign language. It's so impressive. Gosh. Parang sabi, this is the whatever Pinoy type of sign language. Yeah, and you were saying something. Sorry.
Then I received my first supporting actor nomination sa Orial.
Congratulations. Yeah, and I saw that you were nominated for several roles with Love Diaz films.
All of my nominations were Love Diaz. I have 3 nominations as Best Supporting Actor and 1 Best Actor in Orial.
Unbelievable. So that Best Actor, which one is that? The Encantos?
Death in the Land of Encantos.
That's the one I really wanted to see, but I don't know where to find it. Like, where can people find that?
I asked Hazel, sabi niya, nandun daw sa yung link na binigay niya sa akin, pero I don't know, apparently wala na pala.
It's not there. Okay, Okay, so maybe one day they'll turn it up. But I'm super curious. But of the ones that I did see, I was interested in that. I think you won best ensemble in that film with Hazel and Perry. What's his name? Perry Diaz.
Dizon.
Perry Dizon, and then you played the role of sort of a bad guy. Do you remember that film?
Mula sa kung ano.
Yeah,
noon.
that one. So I was like there was one part in that film na you were, this guy who was molesting one of the mentally challenged character, but then you were also the one who that moment when you confronted the priest about whether he was telling the truth. I thought that was a fantastic moment. Like that Lav chose that character to confront the priest. Yeah. So I mean, what was that like for you doing that?
That scene, that was the first scene na kinuna namin during the process, not knowing where it's coming from.
You have no idea.
I have no idea. Wala. ganyan yung trabaho si Love Diaz Parating surprise.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Hindi niya sabihin saan galing o saan pupunta.
And then you said this, and then moving to another film. Okay, but by the way, I love that film. Film. Fantastic acting, and props to Hazel. Fantastic, beautiful. But this other film that you said you never even saw, Melancholia.
Yeah.
Why did you not see it? Because it's like half porn? Sorry.
No. I think I was out of the country then when they showed it. I was in Germany.
You were. What were you doing in Germany?
I have an aunt there, and she's very active in the Filipino community. So they just asked me to do a fundraising for them.
Oh, nice. And that's your Roeder. There's so many Roeders in Germany. That's so great. Okay, so Melancholia, it looked like such a very what do you call this? Uncomfortable. A very uncomfortable role because you had to be there acting like somebody hiding and you were you actually buried?
Yes.
Because I was like, is that really him?
Love Diaz parati ako madumi. Kaya pa sabing Love Diaz, in-expect ko na dudumihan ako.
Tsaka parang hindi ba kayo kinakagat-kagat ng mga lamok or what? Yeah.
Merong scene doon, di ba yung last nung nakita nila yung body ko. Tapos nilagay ako dun sa kabayo. Yung mukha ko nandun sa bolsong kabayo.
Oh God! Sabi ko, is that Roeder the Caballo? Because I don't know if it's a dummy or some other guy. Because you really came from under the earth. So you mean you were covered under the earth? Okay, what was that like? Oh my God!
Just anything for Love Diaz. I'll do anything.
Well, it really got so many great reviews. That's for sure. Okay, so congratulations for that. I think you won another award for that, right?
My second nomination.
So great. So you did all of these Love Diaz films, and now you are forever in the canon of global and world cinema.
Yes.
You're one of those few, So that's ladies and gentlemen, that's another extraordinary thing about Roeder. So after that, what else? Like, what were your other most? I know you did probably a lot, right? But your most memorable films that you've done aside from the Love Diaz films?
Working with Don Zulueta and Richard Gomez.
Which one is this?
A Love Affair with Bea Alonso. But most of my scenes with Don Zulueta. I played her best friend.
Okay, nice. So, what was that like?
During the shoot, nasa starstruck ako dun sa dalawa.
Talaga?
Oo, kasi pag tignan mo, iba talaga. Di ba pag nakita mo, di ba naging love team sila?
Oo.
Pag nakikita mo talaga, parang sabi mo, bagay talaga sila.
Tsaka yata talaga sila, di ba? At the time.
Oo.
Oo. So, they have a chemistry talaga. So why was that memorable for you? Because of them, or what is it?
Because after Rizal kasi, this is most of the films that I've done are all independent films. So this is the first really yung commercial film that I did.
Is it Star Cinema? That's a big deal. It's like a huge I love Diaz, but very few people watch him probably. So millions and millions saw you, and that's already a big role to be the best friend of Dawn. Yeah. Are you still in touch with her, by the way?
No.
Yeah, I thought you might be because of her husband's role in the
But it was my second time to work with her because she was also part of Larawan. She played Elsa Montes.
She did.
So it was easy for us when we saw each other on the set. She remembered me.
Okay. And then, so, because we were talking about, you were in Chris Meliado's Tanghalang Filipino, and then you got burnt out, and then you turned to teaching, and then, but then I asked you to shift and start talking about your films. Where are we now? What would you like? What's next?
Then I did put up my own company. Yeah, setting up my own company. And I did that for my students.
What do you mean you already had students kasi before?
I was already teaching in Valenzuela, the pamantasan ng lungsod ng Valenzuela. But then I felt that since yung setup namin sa PLV, sa pamantasan ng lungsod Valenzuela, comparing to other universities who's offering the same course, yung program namin is not that as intensive compared to UP because they have a season. They have a Dulaang UP. They have a season so they can really practice their craft.
Yes.
But since our setup, hindi ganoon. So, wala silang time na para ma-experience yung production. So, ang tanging productions lang na makukuha nila is the recitals of their acting class and they have a graduation recital. So, technically, 2 shows lang yung gagawin nila habang nag-aaral sila. I don't think it's enough. So, I had the resources that time. So, and with the people around me, my friends, they were all artists. Like Jesse Lucas is a musician, and then another, they were all my housemates. Tapos we have another artist na nasa visual arts, is a painter. And then my manager, si Ricky Gallardo, nasa film naman din siya. So sabi ko, nag-set up tayo ng arts company. So with the 4 divisions, so you have ako yung nasa theater division, then si Jessie sa music, and then visual arts, and then the film. So, and I would also use it for my students kasi yung ginagamit naman nila yung course nila, hindi lang talaga theater. It's technically a mass communication. So, major in theater arts. So, they can also go to music, they can also go to visual arts and film. So, sinet up namin yun for them sana maging playground nila na for those na gusto talagang kunin yung arts track, they can still have a year to spend in my company where they can really hone and really practice their skills and at the same time networking.
That's actually fantastic kasi in the UK uso yun that parang your theater education is tied up to an internship, like a year, something like that. Were you tied up to the school? Like, no. So it's independent.
So para wala ding so yun lang gustong ang tawag dito going to take really that path na gawin nilang career yung napag-aralan nila.
Okay,
so I gave them that space.
So why artist playground?
playground, because of the ano yung ano talaga ng playground, it started like it's like a crib, 'di ba? Ano ba yung ano symbolism ng crib, 'di ba? Pag baby ka, lalagay ka sa crib, that's where you it's a safe place for a kid, no, where pwede siyang matumba to find the balance. And after the crib, lalagyan siya sa playground. And yung actually dun sa playground, dun niya unang natututunan talaga yung buhay dun sa playground na yon. So it's more of like parang ganun sa artist.
Yeah.
It's a safe place where they can commit all the possible mistakes that they can commit.
So you mean there's no terrorizing in the playground?
No, definitely not. Whatever you do, it's part of the learning. It's the focusing more on the process rather than the final output.
Are you saying that it's possible to learn the craft of acting or drama without being terrorized?
Of course.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think because of our culture siguro, minsan kasi minsan matigas yung ulo ng Pilipino. It's balancing.
Yeah.
But not really to the point of really breaking them. Then I think it can work, but it's harmful for the psyche of any human being, I guess.
Yeah.
Not only actors.
So there's such a thing as balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
At some point, pag nakita mong hindi mag-work, then you can use a little bit of, you need to terrorize them a bit.
Yeah.
But
Without breaking their spirits.
breaking, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That sounds so wonderful.
Tapos, and also that artist playground is not only for establishing artists. So, inopen ko din yon for established artists. Like myself, di ba? At some point, hindi ka makawala eh. Like, if there are roles, you have dream roles na usually, pag sa commercial or yung existing companies, hindi mo makukuha because you have to audition or because they don't see you that you're capable of doing it. But you yourself as an actor, but nobody will give you the chance. So yung inopen ko yun for Artist Playground na sige, in a way, it could be a vanity production, but it's for the artists, ang tawag dito, satisfaction.
Yeah.
Diba? You wouldn't know unless you try it. So if you fail, at least you know that you can't do that part.
Yeah.
But what if you can? Diba? So yun yung ganun.
I love that question. What if you can? I love that question.
So nag-create ako ng program. I call it the Open Door Program. We call it an Open Door Program. So any artist, whether you're a anong gusto mo, if you're a director or a set designer or an actor, if you have a concept na gusto mong gawin, I will produce it for you. For as long as kaya ng resources ng company. So, ang first namin dyan is another actress, a great actress, si Miles, Angelina Canapi.
Oh, yeah.
So, she had this concept na what if, kasi usually yung sound yung element na ginagamit yung sound element sa theater, it's always parang the secondary. So, yung story muna, tapos magsusupport lang yung sound. What if balik natin yung process? What if yung sound ang mauuna bago mag-create ng story? So, ganun yung exploration. So, tinry namin, okay, anong gagawin natin? So, naglaro lang kami. Okay, mag-create kami ng sound, then from the sound na marinig niya, saka mabubuhay yung character. Saka mabubuhay yung story. It's a one-woman show. Tapos, I asked my brother to direct it. Na they came up with a title. It's I think, Odire. Odire yung title niya. I think it's a Greek or Latin word, means to listen. So, ang ginawa, 4 parts yung show. So, yung first part, parang, ano ba yun? Parang sound ng nature. Tapos music. Tapos tapos random sound na bibigay namin. Tapos every shows, iba, tapos yung mga students ko yung gumagawa. So yung nasa sound design, siya yung maghahanap ng music. Yung buong run, it ran for parang 3 weeks. Tapos yung kada week na yon, maghahanap siya ng mga iba't ibang sound. So, kada show, hindi na uulit yung show na yon.
Wow!
Mm-hmm.
So parang, teka, yung pagkaintindi ko nito, may pagka-improve ba ito? Hindi naman.
Hindi naman siya improv kasi meron naman kasi talaga siyang meron siyang structure. So, hindi namin alam kung ano na tawag doon. So, it's just like a painting. Parang ganun siya. So, parang parang at the same time, it's also interactive. Kasi depende din doon sa naririnig niyo sa audience.
How interesting.
Very interesting, very interesting. So, and I think it's only that artist, it's only Angelina who can really pull that off.
Amazing. I've seen her do some when I was parang learning. Parang they got some of the, I think she might have been AC at the time, or I don't know, but she was one of the actors. I don't know, but parang she did some exercise. I'm like, wow, galing. Yeah.
Tapos aside from the sound pala, bibigyan din namin siya iba't ibang props. So part ng set yung props, every time nagbabago yung props. So kung ano yung makita niya kay sound, tapos kung ano yung props kung sa mag-resonate sa kanya, buo yung story. Tapos there's isang night na favorite ko, kasi 3 of Shakespeare's character lumabas in that show. It was Lady Macbeth, it was Juliet, and Ophelia.
Ginawa niya lahat.
Oo.
Amazing.
Nag-usap yung tatlo, tapos siya lang mag-isa. So kung baliw ka talaga, ibang klase ka.
Ang galing! I love that. That's amazing. And what can you give like another like major sort of thing that you produce with Artists Playground?
Another piece from Roeder Vera. It's called Happiness. Happiness is a Pearl. And it was a very short play, maybe about less than 5 minutes. Pag binasa mo yun, really a short play. And it was interesting because yung subject matter niya is really interesting. It's about the bulitas.
What's bulitas?
Paano ko ba explain yun? It's that thing. It's like what do you call it? A pearl that was being placed in the guy's penis.
Okay. No, I don't know what that is, but first time I ever heard it.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
The story is it's a story of a Japanese parang hosto. But Japanese. Tapos, di ba, ganun yung culture dun sa Japan na meron sila mga hosto, tapos yung mga...
What's hosto mean?
Kumbaga sa Japayuki, parang an escort. Escort.
Okay.
Tapos yung Japanese, tapos di ba yung mga parang mga bored housewives, they go to this bar, not necessary to have sex, but to have just fun or conversation with mga hosto, ganyan. So, ganun yung storya niya. Tapos, and this hosto fell in love with a Filipina Japayuki. Tapos, to the point na nung uuwi na sa Philippines yung Japayuki, sumama yung hosto.
Is that a guy? Is that a guy, a hosto? Is that a man? Okay.
Pero Japanese talaga siya. Tapos, meron siyang client, yung another character na na-in love sa kanya, na bored housewife.
Okay.
Pero since na-in love siya dito sa guy na to, so, and nagkaroon sila ng parang, in intimacy.
Okay.
So, dahil tas na-in love siya dito, sinundan niya sa Philippines yung Japanese hosto.
Oo.
So, pagdating niya, kinonfront niya yung guy. So, pinapili niya ngayon, this Filipina or me, na nagbigay sa iyo ng pera, parang isang ganyan, di ba? I know you want my money, you need me because you don't have money, ganyan. So, ang ginawa nung guy, you don't want me. So, ginawa nung guy, tinanggal niya sa penis niya yung pearl, tapos binigay niya, eto lang naman yung gusto mo. Baliw, di ba?
That's so weird. Okay, Roeder Vera.
Kaya happiness is a pearl because it's the pearl stitched inside the skin of the male organ.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sort of boggles my mind. But okay. Why was it so memorable for you?
Because the way it was staged. Ang ganda nung concept nung director namin doon. A young director. His name is Paul Jake Powell. And it was one of our hit in Artists Playground.
Even though it's only 5 minutes?
No, he was able to stretch it hanggang up to siguro mga half an hour.
What? That's incredible. Wow, that takes a lot.
Tapos ang ganda ng mga elements kasi like ang daming may tango.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yun, 3-way tango?
Tapos they were performing kasi when we produced it, we were still in our space, a very small space. We call it the little room upstairs. A little room upstairs, about 30 square meters. So, ganun kaliit yung space. So, meron lang parang platform na dalawa, tapos sa gitna may malaking platform na maliit lang talaga. So, imagine mo, nagsasayaw sila ng tango. Professional level ng pagsasayaw, ha? Kasi, again, yung student ko din from Valenzuela, yung choreographer.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible. And as far as I know, you also, there were some productions that you starred in and that were promoted, and like, can you tell me, like, were there highlights that you want to share?
In my company, we parang on our 4th year, that was the only time that I acted for my company.
Talaga?
Yeah, I did the musical version of Gigi at Waterina. This is an entry in the very, very first Lab Fest, CCP's Lab Fest. It was written by Dennis Chidosio, who passed on last year. Is it last year? Yeah, I think last year.
Okay. So you didn't act pala for the first 3 years?
No, I did not.
So you were producing and directing?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And teaching.
And teaching. And you were teaching also in PLV. So
PLV, and then the Artist Playground, we have parang more or less similar din sa Actors Company. But this time, hindi sa Actors Company, the only difference is sa Actors Company is exclusive. Ito, non-exclusive sila. We call them, di ba sa Actors Company, they're called Actors Company of Tanghalang Filipino. They are the resident actors or resident. Some, because it's Artist Playground, we call them the players.
Ang ganda.
Yeah. So, hindi sila exclusive. They can act outside of the company, they can do other projects, but if they're interested, we have a regular classes.
I seem to remember seeing a video of Macbeth. You directed on Macbeth. How was that?
Before I did Macbeth, parang dalawang ano pa yun eh. Before I decided to do the Macbeth full version, pero hindi talaga siya, ginawa ko siya, we call it M episode.
Okay.
Kasi I found the material a year before I produced the M episode. I found a material online. It's called Prelude to Macbeth. Macbeth, written by an English playwright. His name is James Chalmers. It's a one-act play, and inisip lang niya yung concept niya is bago nagkakilala si Lady Macbeth and Macbeth. So ganun.
So you did that. That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, but tas maganda yung pagkakasulat niya kasi binigyan parang na-justify. Kasi di ba dun sa Macbeth, bigla na lang si Lady Macbeth, she was just praying to all these mortal spirits and ganyan. So, ang tapos di ba yung mga witches dun sa So, dun sa Prelude, ang unang nagkaroon ng contact sa mga witches is Lady Macbeth. Si Lady Macbeth ang midala nun. And binigyan niya ng name, kabaliw nga, binigyan niya ng name si Lady Macbeth.
Ano?
Lorna Stewart. Nakakatawa siya, pero actually, very interesting kasi nandun din yung meter ni Shakespeare. Nandun pa rin yung Although, yung language lang is mas more contemporary English na siya, hindi na yung old English.
Wow.
Tapos I tried, nung nag-work naman siya, we got good reviews. Naisip ko lang siguro next season, try natin emerge. Parang subukan lang. Again, because it's a playground, di ba? We just want to try. So nag-start kami with the Prelude, tapos going to the Shakespeare's.
That's a huge project.
Mm-hmm.
Tinapos, I mean, you did the whole Macbeth, like Tino, or is it Shakespeare?
The Shakespeare, English. Tapos yun din, and half of my cast are really non-English speakers.
Ay, naku.
The first time we take Shakespeare.
Whoa.
So yun yung talagang malaking sa amin na
Challenging.
sabi nila na ambitious. That's at the point. We just wanted these kids to experience using Shakespeare because they will not be casted outside.
That's so fantastic.
Diba?
I love that.
They will never have that experience to do Shakespeare.
I love
They're going to repertory, they will be called as divine repertory if you have a problem. I was once called like that, the English patient. Diba? So never siguro maski anino mo hindi makakatungtong doon.
I think your English is excellent. Oh boy, but that's such a
excellent way to be inclusive of actors to try important things. Yeah. So you're doing actors, and then so now we come to this, and this is really one of the things I really want to highlight in this podcast. It's because really all of this is prelude to what you're doing now, which to me is it's like a major thing, because you actually developed a way for people to learn acting, but it's unique, it's singular, and you created it. So tell us about it.
I call it the actor's energy principle. Okay, we've talked about Michael Ellison. He's the one who first introduced me to the importance of energy in performance. And then, during my stint in Tanghalang Filipino, where I received yung process talaga ng paano yung tamang training. So, in Tanghalang Filipino, we were exposed to different acting techniques, from the method, the Stella Adler, the Meissner, So at some point in every time that we will study this, the acting techniques, we were able to understand the concept, but we had trouble in application, applying it. We always end up frustrated. Kasi nakikita namin, we know the concept, but when it comes to performance, hindi kami tumatawid, hindi siya nag-drive. So, naging curious ako, ano yung reason, bakit hindi? So, I need to find that link, o ano yung magbe-bridge dun sa technique at saka dun sa application. Understanding the concept and then the application, bakit hindi siya tumutuhog. So, yun yung nag-start nung research ko. Then I went back on the energy. Then I found out one of the main reason, because all of these acting techniques, malaking part yung culture, kung sino yung nag-explore ditong particular acting technique. And most of these acting techniques na available for us Filipinos are explored by Westerners. So, naka-depend yun sa temperament nila, sa psyche nila, sa culture nila. So, yun yung problema. Kasi, nag-work sa kanila yung this particular technique, like if you like yung Adler, baka magalit sa akin yung mga But anyways, di ba, mag-start kagad sila sa objective and discoveries, pero not really talking or not paying attention dun sa instrument. Tapos, siguro nag-work yun sa kanila because Americans, as a race, they're very straightforward, diba? They always say what they think. Unlike us Filipinos, parating hindi na, how should I say, diba parang we say yes when we mean no, or vice versa. So, I think, yun muna yun ako. So, me as a teacher, sabi ko, what if I focus more on how we operate, understanding how we operate as a human being. Like, understanding how our instruments work. The body, the mind, and the voice. Tapos dun ko naisip yung konsepto nung energy. And I, little by little, nag-try ako dun sa research, reading, and then I had a chance na mag-teach, and I was trying to explore, okay, what if ito yung ganito ituturo ko, ganyan, hanggang sa mabuo ko na yung buong system. But I still don't want it, I parang masyadong, natatakot ako na maging baka masyadong arrogant na iano ko agad to na as an acting technique. No, it's not. I still don't want to push it as an acting technique. It's more of a system. It's more a preparation for the actor to understand whatever technique that we're going to be interested on in the future. So mas madaling mag-sink in sa kanila yung technique na tinuturo, na pag-aaralan nila. Once they understand paano nag-work yung instrument nila. So in other words, yung system na binuo ko siya, it's just like parang an instructional manual. Diba? Like sa any gadget naman na bibilhin natin, you have to read the manual para alam mo, para magamit mo yung gadget mo nang hindi mo siya masisira. So parang ganun yung idea ng system na binuo ko. Kasi most of the time, because of, yun nga, yung exercise na experience ko, ang ginagawa natin when we were trying to learn the technique is just using the gadget without reading the instructional manual. So, it's either, ang mangyayari, it's either na masira mo yung gadget mo or hindi mo magagamit, hindi mo maintindihan yung features na nandun sa gadget na ginagamit mo. So, it's more, ganun yung idea niya.
Give me an example.
What do you mean?
Kasi, okay, so, you're saying that it's something like an instructional manual, and it's like it's a tool or like
it's just like you have your three instruments: the body, the mind, and the voice. Usually inaaral mo siya, parang they're just separate instruments na gagamitin mo, but the trick there is for you to be able to perform, you have to use your instruments in perfect harmony. So ano yung magko-connect dun sa tatlo na yon, and dun papasok ngayon yung energy. Na ang yung energy yung mag-run kung tumatakbo ng body mo, and the energy is being produced by the thought. And that's why the system is heavily anchored on the breath, the breathing, because it is the breath that produces the energy. And the breath is also important because that is the link between, it connects the life to your consciousness. And it is also the breath that connects the psychological to your physical.
So what do you focus on first? The thought or the breath?
The breath. Like we dissect how we breathe. Diba? Yun yung, because this is something that we do every day. Parang instinct siya, but we do not understand. Diba? Pag tinanong mo ang tao, how do you complete one breath? Ano yung process niya? Ang sabi lang niya is inhale and exhale. Yeah, that's true. Those, kasi yung pinakaalam natin, inhale and exhale. But there are actually 4 beats complete one breath. Diba? Sa breathing natin, when you breathe, you don't exhale right away. There is always that space in between those breaths, the inhalation and the exhalation. So you inhale, and then there's the space, and that space is called the suspension. And then you exhale, and there's the space after the exhalation before you move on to the next breath. That is the point of recovery. So those are the 4 beats na pinag-aaralan natin. And yung 4 beats na yon, that is also responsible in producing the 4 general emotions. Meron siyang meron siyang combination in order for us to do that an emotion. And then this is one thing that I've discovered, that yung emotion came from, I think, a Latin word, immovera, which means to disturb. So inisip ko, anong dinidisturb niya? It is actually, it is a disturbance of a breath pattern. Because the normal breathing pattern, especially you will see, makikita mo to sa infant, that very regular, yung breath niya, it's called a square breath. Na it's something like 4 beats of inhalation, then 4 beats the suspension, then 4 beats as you exhale, then 4 beats as you the point of recovery before to move on to the next breath. Now, when the emotion sets in, it disturbs that breathing pattern. Nag-iiba siya when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're scared, and when you're angry.
I love it. And this actually, I was really shocked. When I read that overview that you sent me, because man, that is some dense material. Like, you really thought about this. And by the way, the English was excellent. No, seriously. So, what's this done in collaboration, or were you doing it with a school, or was it independent, or?
At first, independent, and then I asked my brother to help me with the research.
I just really want to encourage you, because as somebody who's kind of a voracious learning about these things, it really sounds extremely substantial, and Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's still, I don't think it's finished. I'm still learn. I can't say that the research is finished and I'm really ready to share it.
Are you not ready yet?
I don't think so.
Are you not?
Not
So
yet.
am I going to be one of the first to share it? Okay.
But I some of it I'm teaching, and it's a system that I use when I teach.
It is.
It is.
So, if people want to know how they can learn from you this technique, or how can they do that?
The system, technique. I still don't want to call it as a technique.
Okay, system.
Baka mabasa ko.
Okay, system. And then, and I remember I was telling you, why don't you call it the Camañag technique?
No. Too ambitious.
Okay. So yes, where can they learn the system?
I told you earlier that I also hold classes in Artist Playground. That's what I teach in. That's yun yung in-explore namin dun sa with my players.
So they can actually just find out and go to the Artist Playground website and inquire. Yeah, okay.
Or FB page.
Or FB page. Okay, great. Awesome. Oh, by the way, you just showed this parang blockbuster for me. YouTube of you singing Musang
Tala.
Like that piece sounds, it's incredible. Like, can you tell me about it? No, I mean, it really, I'm like, what is this? What is the story? This is like...
It was a poem written by Mars Kavistani, one of my mentors. And I couldn't say no. And it was an honor to be asked to sing his poem.
And what was the picture of you? What parang somebody
The
did
picture, yeah. The composer, he saw that in one of my posts. It was, again, accidental lang din yung photo na yon. I was doing a lock-in shoot in Baguio. The photographer is from Baguio. His name is Eros Gose. Tapos in one of my, wala akong hindi ako on call, so bored na bored ako dun sa hotel. Tapos I was texting him because he was my friend, long-time friend. And he said, sige, takas kita dyan, mag-photoshoot tayo. Kasi he's a photographer, he has a photo studio. Sabi niya, Sunday yon, teka, bored ka, mag-photoshoot tayo. So wala lang, kung ano lang yung available na damit na dala ko. We went to his studio, tapos kung ano, naglaro lang kami. Tapos kung ano yung makita niya, yung flowers sa hawak niya, so binigyan niya ako ng coat, tapos nung ang tawag doon, fedora hat, and then, may nakita siya sa vase niya na pati yung flowers. So, ayan, tumiting na photoshoot tayo.
Okay.
So, kung ano lang ginawa namin, and it's the instinct, yung flowers na patuyot na, yung flowers, nasad lang ako, naiyak na ako. So, ganun lang siya.
It's a fantastic photo. It should be a poster.
He used it, although, meron siyang edit no, na parang half lang. Ito lang siya, tapos with the tear, that's the flowers. And he used it in his exhibit, recent exhibit.
So he was taking a picture of you, you just wanted to cry?
Huh?
You just felt like you wanted to cry during your photoshoot? Because of your outfit inspired the tear?
No, the dead flowers. Those flowers withering, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so fantastic.
Tapos then he saw that, sabi niya, can we use this? So I have to ask permission of the photographer. So I messaged him and he said, okay, but I'll give you the original photo. Just don't use the edited one that I used in my exhibit. So that's the story. Kaya sabi ng photographer kasi parang mas bagay daw dun sa music. Then when I heard, when he asked for that photo, hindi pa niya binibigay sa akin yung demo. But when I heard the demo, when I heard the music, sabi ko, okay, bagay nga.
Mukha nga nagbe-breakdown. So tell me, why was it so challenging and how did it feel like?
Because when Mars told me, sabi niya, it's a very sad. Sad. It's about separation. So it's a very sad poem. So I was expecting the music would be ballad, but when I heard the music, it's like, how this is not a sad music. This is not a ballad. So I asked, why is a music like this? And he said, because the poem is actually written at the verge of a nervous breakdown.
Wow. And you said it kind of stressed you out?
It stressed me out because it was a very difficult music to learn. Unless you're a music student that you can read notes, and I don't read notes.
Yeah.
So I'm just learning it by ear. And it was quite some time that when parang nangalawang ako because I haven't, learned music, since the pandemic.
It completely and utterly boggles my mind that you do all these musicals and you don't read music.
No, just learn it by ear.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh!
Mhm.
Like it's so super nuanced. All of the Mabini. I mean, everything was so super nuanced, and that was all. You just memorize it by listening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is another incredible Roeder craft skill.
But not all singers naman read notes. So especially if you're coming from a pop, not all pop singers can read notes. So we all learn our music naman by ear.
But not in theater.
Most of my musical
Really?
friends who ask for musical theater, not all of them read notes.
Oh. You know that. It's still amazing because I would say maybe if it's like a song or two or three, but if you're like doing an entire musical from beginning to end, that's something else. Like amazing. So
Well, the last time I handled that kind of yung ganong kahirap was Larawan and Mabini. Almost the same progression, same score. Na parang hindi mo alam saan ka pupunta, hindi predictable yung progression niya.
yeah, it was so. I was just pondering that music by is it the daughter of
Karina.
Yeah.
There's a funny story nga during our press preview. Kasi I sang the first song, Mabini song, which is Hindi Ito Ang Bayan Ko. But sa play, mas madaling matandaan yung pag-shift nung progression ng chords kasi merong mga lines in between. Then you shift onto a different progression. Parang gano'n, the different part of the progression of the chords. So mas madali siyang tandaan kasi merong mga lines in between. When we did that sa press preview, wala yung line. So I just had to sing it ng diretso. So during the performance, nag-skip ako ng isang buong full stanza.
Wow.
Dumiretso ako. Nabuti na lang live. So si Krina, taranta siya. Nag-jump siya kagad sa next thing.
Wow.
Tapos nung question and answer portion natin, anong sa akin about that is a very parang it's a very difficult score. Sabi ko music, sabi ko, yes it is. In fact, I forgot a full chunk of it. Nakita na lang kami sa huli. Sabi ko, maybe you're asking me what to expect. You will hear that stanza in the show. And they just all laughed.
I bet nobody noticed.
And it was on YouTube also, that performance.
Oh, really? It was that one? Yeah. I did not notice anything.
Tumalon talaga ako. Nakita ko talaga si Krina sa peripheral ko.
Wow. By the way, that was a tour de force. That really blew me away, and to me that's why I knew that you are really one of the defining for me. Kasi I don't know, it's just really how you embodied Mabini. So yeah, congratulations for that. Yeah, and now I'm gonna ask you just basic what is it that allows you to really prepare for a role in a way that you can do that, embody a person? Because you are known for disappearing into roles.
A lot of research, and using the system that I'm exploring. Finding the breath pattern of the character. If you find the breath pattern, then everything will follow.
what are some of the lines from all of the performances you've done in film and theater? The lines that have stuck with you because they just have resonated with you so much. Like, give me one or two.
God.
What?
Film and theater?
Pwede sige, theater na lang.
Well, sa film meron. Sa
Sige,
Melancholia.
theater. Film pala.
Yung line doon na, hindi ako natatakot mamatay. Ang kinatatakot ko, hindi na kita makikita muli.
I remember that. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Theater.
Sa theater, I think wala na, paisip tuloy ako talaga.
Laking database na to ng searching. Ang laki ng database.
Oh, when I again, ito din, when I did Hilda Cordero's Wilderness of Sweets. It was staged by Nonon Padilla. It was really a reading, pero hindi, parang may part na binabasa yung main character. Tapos it was parang Brechtian yung ano niya yung staging niya. So from nakaupo lang kami, tapos we take on the character. Tapos towards the end, I will take a very important character, the Japanese, because the story is during the Japanese time, Japanese occupation. Tapos then the mother of the one reading, parang sa memory niya, the mother had a relationship with the Japanese. Tapos after how many years, the Japanese went back to get the ashes of her mother. Tapos then she asked the Japanese, have you move on? Parang ganon. Tapos ang sinabi niya, the problem is not really the loving, but the problem is how to forget. Yun.
Oh, the things that you've done, that's what you remember.
Yeah, there's another line when I did yung Ibong Adarna. It was, yung sumulat naman nito ay si Rene Villanueva. Yung Rene Villanueva's version of Ibong Adarna, I played Don Pedro. When Don Pedro talking to the ermitaño na nag-disguise as a beggar. So nandun na siya, papunta, malapit na siya makita yung Ibong Adarna, humihingi ng sa kanya. Tapos yung line niya na I think kalimitan I could relate it sa system ng politics natin, na yung sinabi niya na ang mga mahihirap hindi dapat sabi niya kasi humihingi di ba ng bread. Sabi niya, bakit kita bibigyan ng bread? Sabi niya, bakit kita bibigyan ng tinapay? Baka masanay pa yung tiyan mo. Dahil ang tiyan mo, sanay sa mga punong kahoy dito. Pag nakatingin ka ng konting ginhawa, hihingi ka pa ng mas, hindi ka na makukontento. And somehow, na-realize ko, nga no, maybe minsan, di ba, yung mga politicians, maybe that's how they think. Di ba? So, kaya yung may hirap, iniiwan nilang may hirap sila. They will not do anything. Kasi pag ang hirap, binigyan mo ng tamang edukasyon, binigyan mo ng maginhawa, wala kang control sa kanila.
Lisa Makuha asked you this question, but baka updated na yun kasi super luma na nung interview niya.
Yeah.
Your top roles you ever played. Let's say top 3.
Top 3. Of course, I still hindi ko top 3. Sige na nga, top 3 na lang.
Ano gusto mo top?
Hindi. Of course, the Gregor Vasi. I will never forget that role. Then, Simon. And, pwede top 4.
Sige, top 4.
Sige, the Gregor Vasi, Simon, and Jesus Christ, and now Mabini.
Jesus Christ, which what production is that?
Yung ano namin, sa Cavite.
Ayun sa production no? You created your own original? That is amazing. Okay. If you were to give advice to aspiring actor, what would you give them? Like, if you were to give them like just one major advice, what would it be?
Do not take yourself seriously, but take the craft seriously, but not yourself.
I got this question from Lewis House, School of Greatness, and he's saying, let's say, at the end of your life, not saying that this is, but let's say you have nothing to give, like you don't have any material things or anything that you can leave behind. You can only leave behind your wisdom, okay? And you want to share it to the world. And there's only 3 things that you can share before you move on to the next, whatever that is. What would you say?
Live your life to the fullest.
It's number 1. It's number 2.
Again, I will just share that wisdom that was shared to me by Edna Vida. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't afraid to commit mistakes.
What was that thing she said about wimps?
Sabi niya, do not be afraid to fail because failure will give you character and too much success will make you a wimp.
What's the number 3?
And number 3 is learn to love yourself. Really love yourself.
I love that. Well, I think that's it for this interview.
Thank you very much.
This is a wonderful
Thank you
interview.
for sitting across you and being interviewed by you.
I really, really appreciate it, and all the best to you, Roeder.
Oh,
Really,
thank you.
And God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bless you too.